Today's topic is about how does intersectionality affect intergenerational queer communities, particularly here in Sydney. So when we talk about that, we talk about a range of things, but particularly here in Sydney, we have the privilege of having our elders an active and present part in our community. So that's kind of the things that we're going to talk about today. But also, since we have an amazing panel, we'll be talking about a range of things. So I'd like to now move on to the panellists. I'm, by the way, just Kilimi, just a little area girl. Got my little boots on. Just a little area girl, and I'll be hosting. But these people are actually the most important people today. So I'm going to start with age before beauty, so Mia. Just give us a little run through with who you are. Everybody's a bit nervous, but it's fine. Who you are and like what you do and like where you intersect.
Hi. Hello, everyone. My name's Mia Dennis. I am originally from Cape Town, South Africa. I moved here to Sydney 4 years ago. And I am a queer woman of colour, model, and artist. And yeah, I think through my work, I work for queer and fat and expressive liberation. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, you can hear me okay? So my name's Megan Oliver. I'm a queer tattoo artist. I'm a blow-in from New Zealand. I'm a first-generation Pākehā New Zealander. Been living here in Sydney since about 1998 and, having a great time tattooing all the queers. I'm non-binary, femme-presenting. I'm married to the beautiful Sarah Barry, who's here today. What else about me? Yeah, that's it.
Hi everyone. I really hate using microphones. I think it's like a very like trans-specific thing that just like the idea of my voice is like the worst thing I can imagine. My name is Estelle Clarke. I'm a Yori Yora Wemba Wemba woman, but I grew up on Noongar Whadjuk back over in Perth. I'm 24 and my pronouns are she, her. I'm currently the program and training coordinator at Black Aboriginal Corporation, which is a corporation aiming to improve the social and emotional well-being of First Nations queer peoples.
Hi everyone, my name is Matt, Matt Stegh. My pronouns are he. I'm a costume designer by trade. I'm a dad, community engagement, used to put on parties. I have an amazing partner, Justin Shoulder. I've been living in Sydney now.
What's the party? We want to know the party.
Well, they don't exist anymore, so... Too late. I've lived in Sydney for most of my life, and I'm from Warramut country.
Okay, so as you can tell, all varying ages and all varying beauties, right? So today, like the first question I'm gonna ask, there is no right answer, and it's literally just anything that you think and feel. So I want to know what has been, how do you define intersectionality? And I'll start off with you, Megan.
So if we imagine like a Venn diagram, and on the left circle we would have a woman, or at least usually perceived to be a woman, even though I feel my core identity is non-binary, but because I usually present femme, I'm at least taken to be a woman. On the other side we would have same-sex attracted or gay. And then up the top, we might have another circle for my ethnicity, which is a white person. So in the middle of all these circles, in the intersection, I'm going to have a bunch of unique experiences that I wouldn't get from either side. So I think all of these identities kind of inform who I am and what I get to experience in the world, different joys and different struggles, different oppressions. So I might have a completely different experience of sexism to a straight woman, and I might have a completely different experience of homophobia to a gay man.
Yes. Okay, yes, exactly. And what about you, Estelle?
I feel like that summed it up perfectly. I experience it as well as like a First Nations person, but also like a very different level of it because I'm also fair-skinned. I understand that there are privileges attached to that. But it's very much the Venn diagram of where I see it as a woman who is trans, who is First Nations, and like what society deems me like appropriate to experience because of that. And there are like highs, there are lows, there are struggles, there are triumphs, there are ways that we can connect to community through those things, and ways that we like suffer as a community because of it.
Yes, exactly. And then I wanted to know, Mia, being from like South Africa and then coming here to Sydney, how has your experience of intersectionality like been?
It's been very interesting because over the past 4 years, I haven't been on permanent residency or citizenship, so a lot of my livelihood was just survival and wanting to stay here because of what life here afforded me. And I feel very privileged and very thankful to be on this land. And yeah, I think a lot of the time it was, in the beginning, there was a lot of misunderstanding of like where I stood and who I am, because before I moved here, I hadn't openly expressed myself as queer or even really understood what queer meant. And moving here really provided me with the opportunity to, in a sense, I guess what I called it back then was redefine myself. But it was actually just coming into myself. Yeah. But yeah, I think over the past few years, I haven't maybe had the same experience as my peers because I've had to work really hard and a lot to pay for a lot of expenses of visa things and, you know, living here and supporting my family as well. And so it's been a challenge, but I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very thankful.
Okay, so with that, I wanted to know from you, Matt, like what has been your experience? Again, not saying you're old, but just talking about your experience maybe back then and like with the landscape that it is now. How maybe was your experience of intersectionality or your understanding of it like back then to what it is now?
I think my understanding of intersectionality came from unpacking my family's past and offered then, I think, an interface to kind of connect with people, like all different people, regardless of, I suppose, what their identity, their outward identity was. Similarly to Estelle, I'm very fair-skinned Indigenous. My mum's side was Wiradjuri, and I didn't grow up with any culture because my grandfather kept it a secret from everybody, and he was also a racist and a cop and a homophobe. And so I grew up with a lot of contempt for him, and my relationship with him was very difficult. And then on my dad's side of the family, his father was actually an SS cop as well. So he came out here after the World War II illegally after committing heinous war crimes, and also against his family. I was lucky enough to have parents that really kind of cut that kind of potential for violence off. So I think that unpacking all of that as a teenager and sort of going, well, God, if that's what I'm kind of dealing with and coming from, like, what has everyone else got, you know? And how is that affecting their relationships with other people and also them connecting to people regardless of identity. So I think it's given me an interface that's entrenched in empathy, straight up, for people's potential story.
Yes, love.